That and move on back as we start to jump into game. Again, it's 1-1 as you see at the top of the scoreboard as Exiled and E2N look to solve things over on Stone Keep and the newest themed map into the realm. A lot of high verticality and still a lot of close quarters on the outside parts of the map between the church and the keep itself. Will prove to be a very interesting small little battleground for Androxus and Maeve, more likely than not. And on point, Makoa and Torvald will be looking to establish themselves against the flame-friendly Fernando. Say that 10 times fast. I know I probably couldn't. We will just get a second to sync and get ready to go with our spectator client. And again, Stone Keep will be map number 3. E2N versus Exiled is the game at hand. Again, if you want to see more information on what the current rankings and standings look like as we move out of the open bracket qualifiers in the next 2 weeks and into the Masters qualifiers, and of course the Gauntlet open bracket, you can find those rankings over on paladinsworld.com. Make sure you jump in and take a look at everything going on over at Paladins World before we get going with the semis and the finals, brought to you by Hi-Rez later today. But Stone Keep again is the map as we jump in and taking a look. We'll run through the teams. It'll once again be Exiled rocking the blue trunks this time with Shiva playing Maldamba, Achilleo playing Maeve, Alejandro will be playing Cassie, Weifel, Metal on Fernando, and Bloodbomb will be taking over the skies as Drogos. And for E2N, looking to make this a 2-map sweep and come back to possibly win the set, will be Jack Magspec playing the Shaolin once again, Square on Makoa, Sir Cohen will be playing Torvald, RBOC on Ying, and Fraxine will be rocking the flanker role still, this time playing the Androxus. Godslayer himself. Looking at itemization, it will be a lot of cauterize and record kind of being thrown about multiple characters with a couple instances of Haven very early on. More so for the healers than anybody else. Makoa will have one as well, and this is interesting. A lot of kind of dance and wait, a little Mexican standoff over in the keep, but it will be a successful pull on Shiva, which is a very nice target to eliminate him off the bat as Maldamba falls, and it will be E2N looking to convert that into a point conversion, or at least the point control at the moment as Mikolo, and it will be on the backside able to find a lot of damage, and that is the danger of Stone Keep. It is such a close quarters map, and the distance between spawn and capture point is very small, so even though Sir Cohen is trying to contest the point, he's by himself and will fall, so a missed opportunity as Exile looks to push the advantage. Fernando right up front, flame lancing the turtle and either trying to boil him down a little bit. Fireball comes out, really nobody, because no one was there to really get hit by it. And it will be Mikolo trying to push the issue and force his way back to the backline, but will be caught out by Androxus. Now Shaolin looking to push his advantage. Misses an Impaler arrow though, but will able to find a number of damage from Planet. But Makoa, the successful Dreadjacker, will find Cassie, who has to dodge roll out of position. And not a good spot as will be again Fraxian, that flanker, looking to convert the positioning into a good spot. Heat Haze, the first ultimate on the board, will be used by Shaolin, who's really not able to find much damage whatsoever, as Mikolo is finding a lot of squishy targets in the back, able to pull out Fraxian, and will give his team a chance to get back on point. It is 69 to 60% favoring the blue team as they continue to capture, but kills coming out left and right. Another nice pull, but it will be actually blocked by the railing, it looked like, right up front on this little elevated landing right before the church. The Curse Storm coming back to look to find a lot of damage again for the red team, but still no frontliner here. Fernando will just pull his shield up and will actually not get feared somehow by that Dread Serpent. I thought that was supposed to go through shield, but must have missed it just barely on him as the Hyper Beam comes out to again force the issue as E2N looks to come back in. But again, the Dragon doing so much work for free up right now with the Spitfires coming out to zone out the equation of this frontline combination. And the Dragon's Fury able to find a nice kill on the Makoa. Torvald left alone in the front will be burned down very quickly. And there's really no way for the squad of E2N to come back on this, although the dimensional linking from Ying tries to force the issue for a little bit longer, but she will between not only spawn and the capture point itself will actually result on the backside of a very quick payload push if it is not stalled. And at the moment, E2N is opting to stay more in their base closer to spawn, as a lot of damage is still coming out in this little cathedral over on the right side, prospectively for them. No one falling as of yet, just trading health pools at the moment, as no one's able to really convert, although Androxus is out in the backline by himself, and he is communicated about and will be turned and focused by the side of Exiled, so he will be the first enemy down for Exiled as they look to continue this push. Heat Haze is popped, as you hear the site is failing everybody on the map at the moment, as you see Shaolin dropping a bunch of illusions out, and it will be the planet in the backside finding Maeve. A nice pickup for the defensive red squad, looking to get more kills as Cassie is once again also kind of out by herself, but nobody's there to do the damage, as they are again once more content to just hold this front line and try to get the Dreadjaker pulls to initiate on somebody, but no one really getting pulled out at the moment. Fernando's in the backline for free at the moment. No one's turning and focusing on him. Torvald finally comes out to try to get some damage down. The Ancient Rage is pushing its way into the backline and will find a kill onto the Meldamba, looking for Cassie, but she does dodge roll away, but is pulled, and actually will dodge roll right out of the way of that last shot before it can confirm damage. So nice more often than not. Shaolin is more than happy to continue to find the way to do damage, though, as he is sitting on a 7 streak at the moment and continuing to plug damage with these arrows very quickly into the frontliners, and it is just Meldamba left alive to contest the point as the overtime does get in. No one's there to trigger it, so it will be a successful defense. E2N again finding themselves on the back foot early, but able to rebalance and come right back at it. A very strong defense here on Stone Keep. Again, a very interesting dynamic to this map is, again, it is very, very close quarters, and there's not much distance horizontally on the map. Everything seems to go vertical, so that time through E2N opts to play the passive game, and it pays off very nicely. Looking at the net worth chart again, a little bit more of a pinstripe as Shaolin is up there again, mostly due to that 9 kill streak he is on, and it does find him on top of the damage dealt as well. So not really much advantage either way, as there's a nice Dreadsuper over here in the church, and of course the Accursed Arm following up right behind that to kind of counter-initiate, and that will be Androxus finding a kill, as it will be the red team getting a double kill from Fraxian. Will be the advantage. Hands up right here, and the reversal does find some damage, but Blood Bomb is able to finally convert. And on the backside, E2N still sitting on point as nobody was contesting. Makoa able to get it to above 30%, as Shaolin was looking to get more damage down before he fell right near the end of that last keep of Maiden Stone. Torvald once again finding a way to recharge his shield very routinely, even though he does catch the wrong end of a mini stun, but Maeve in the backline looking to deal with the Ying, and the Shaolin will actually find a kill, so Michelob finding some traction on the Maeve, finding more damage onto Makoa, able to convert that kill. So Exiled coming right back at it. Torvald by himself will be picked out as well, even though it will be Fraxian trying to get back to point to do damage, but he's going to have a hard time in the face of all of that damage, and Alejandro will be able to finish off Androxus. He did the double kill on Cassie. Scout activated to get that mini wall hack available, so everyone on his team can see where this aggression may be coming from as far as the retake could possibly go. Hyper Beam to disengage people off the map, list off the point as Makoa gets back onto it. So now double frontliners coming back in. The illusionary rift behind that will help out, but Immortal does get popped from the Fernando, keeping a lot of the team alive. And the Dread Serpent again in a really nice spot, able to find really actually nobody, as the Shaolin plus the Androxus getting so much damage outside of that Dread Serpent fear will allow E2N to come back at this right at the nick of time. It was 99%. The Dread Serpent not able to convert as much of a fear as wanted from the Meldamba, and it will end up being E2N's point as they go up now 2-1, looking to possibly make this a 3-1 point if they can get this payload. Another Dreadjaker finds the Drogos, and he will fall as well, so now a 5-on-3 situation in favor of E2N, looking to get this payload pushing, as it's been almost over a minute and a half since this payload has really even started to move, and finally those wheels start turning once again, at least for a little bit, as Torvald is looking to keep that payload moving with the support of Ying. Another nice push as Makoa is in the backside looking for damage. Will find a kill against the Cassie, but not able to keep the shell shield up long enough to stave off Maeve, who finds the confirmed kill. Shaolin looking to do damage, but is in a bad spot for that planet. Will cancel out of it early as Fernando looks to push the issue, but runs right into 4 players and has to very quickly back up. Fortunately, Maeve is doing a little bit of damage from the side, as Fernando is able to get back towards his team and get himself healed up from the Mend Experience and Board combination from Meldamba, who's able to slither out of the way of that nasty Dreadjaker with 10 seconds as the countdown happens just behind us. The payload's still moving, and the issue is being forced from E2N, but a lot of damage from that salvo onto Shaolin, who's falling low, but a nice Impale Arrow actually finds Fernando stunned against the payload, but nobody's able to convert the kill. So Shaolin falls, the Accursed Arm able to find, just barely misses the outside of the Makoa, but Alejandro able to find a double, looking for a triple, gets inside that shell shield and starts plugging away. A nice mini stun from the Maldama will result in E2N falling short of that push, making things even at 2-2. But a lot of ultimates being utilized from E2N trying to get that push in top 3 yet in these last 2 maps. The others category to look at, healing almost dead even between both the Ying and the Maldama. So good for Ying for sticking up and sticking with that Maldama. E2N looking to force issue over on the keep side of things, while the blue side of Exiled was happy to stay a little bit lower towards the church, but this will result in a nice little flank from Makoa, able to get in the backline, will find a pull and a kill onto Blood Bomb, while the Drogos and Fraxi with the double kill, making a triple kill, as the Androx is able to find 3 on the outside, looking to get back in, even though there is a double kill coming out for Shaolin, but no frontliner. The only real frontline presence that they have is the reversal, and that was just used and did not find much damage. A nice protective bubble though from Torval will keep him alive for a little bit, so the stagger of both frontliners is actually resulting in a possibility for E2N to stay at this point longer than they really should, as Makoa just barely gets there in time. Nobody was there to dismount him, so that horse speed able to get him back, but the Dragon's Fury will find him just before the shell shield is able to proc, or the turtle spin able to get him out of the danger zone, as I'm sure that was not what he wanted to find. And it will be now 3-2 as the payload point is converted for Exile. The blue team is finding their way back in. So you can see that that payload is moving very slowly towards the back. A nice little planted, able to find a lot of damage on the Cassie as she does fall the accursed arm also in the back line as it's coming through the keep, but really no one to target besides Fernando, and he's happy to soak up most of that damage. The nether step having to be utilized to get Androxus out of the fray as it turns into a one-on-one on the outside, and it will be Androxus winning that battle against the Maeve. But careful, as the Dragon is in the backline, looking to do some damage kind of in a sneaky way. Shaolin does sniff out that flank though, and will kind of put some focus there. Shaolin able to find a nice double kill, actually finding a low target, Fernando and a Cassie getting a triple kill, again turning the focus back to the Drogo. So a nice triple kill from Shaolin in the face of what could have possibly been a very dangerous flank. So another nice little spur of confirmed shots, able to keep this still in the defensive side's favor. A 9 streak for that aforementioned Shaolin, as he's able to again stay on top of the charts for his team and keep the defense alive. Payload will be forced a little bit as Fernando is able to step right back on. Those wheels will start moving in the forward direction for the blue side and Exiled team, but Fraxian finding a double kill as well. Again, these damage dealers between Fraxian and Jack able to do so much on their characters. Him playing Shaolin twice is Jack Magspec, and he's finding a lot of success doing it as the overtime is initiated. Fernando right off the tries to do what he can, but again, not enough healing or health pools to keep them in the face of all 5 red players. And it will be, again, a successful defense for the 3rd consecutive time on this map, making it a 3-3. It will come down to one last point fight. All 10 players have ultimates available. Net worth chart still favoring the Fernando just by himself. That is the strength of Torvald, able to get a lot of that 2,000 HP protective bubbles onto the characters who need it most, resulting in a very high number for him. It will be again E2N force the issue over here, potentially right for them in the keep. A Dread Serpent does come out to counter it as possible. The Dragon's Fury as well, able to find the Torvald, but it is the accursed arm on the backside, able to find 1 kill. The Ancient Rage in the fray of things, able to try to do a little bit of damage as it was midnight for at least a little bit of the time. Immortal to counter everything out, so really good counter ults from both teams as it ends up being a full trade recapture for E2N. They are still not quite even as it gets to just to 60%. The Dragon's Fury shut down again by Shaolin. It's happened so often in this game. And again, these double stuns coming out of the Impaler, followed by the Dreadtaker or vice versa, has led to a lot of success late in this game for E2N as they get to above 80%. Jack again with another double kill, looking for a triple. Could be the 3rd of the game for him, but only finds the double. Traxian cleans up, but again, no frontliners left alive for an Exiled, and they're in trouble as everybody falls. 99% overtime is in effect. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to get through her in time. Dodril tries to get there, but again, another nice Impaler arrow to disengage the Cassie, and it will be E2N getting the victory in map 3, coming against their backs against the wall, finding a 1st round victory very late. Goes all the way to 3-3, and E2N will be the one to move on. Exiled falls just short